Vladimir Putin accused the United States of prolonging the war in Ukraine due to the supply of weapons. He mentioned this at the 10th Moscow Conference on International Security. According to him, globalists in the West fuel conflicts, create chaos and want to establish their dominance.
Ситуация на Украине показывает, что США пытаются...
The situation in Ukraine shows that the United States is trying to prolong this conflict. The US and its vassals are grossly interfering in the internal affairs of the sovereign states, organize provocations, coup d'etat, civil wars. They are trying to force independent states to obey their will, to live according to outsiders' rules, using threats, blackmail and pressure. And all this is done with only one purpose: to maintain their dominance.
Nikolai Patrushev, the secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, continued the theme of alleged provocations by the West against Russia. In his opinion, the situation around Ukraine is being used as a pretext for launching an unprecedented global anti-Russian campaign.
The events around Ukraine show that Westerners are trying to balance on the verge between hybrid actions and an open armed conflict with our country, which they do not stop preparing for. Nikolai Patrushev, secretary of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, at the 17th meeting of the secretaries of the member states of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
The Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Sergey Shoigu, is not lagging behind his colleagues. He said at the opening of the so-called First International Anti-Fascist Congress that it was the United States that was to blame for the fact that Ukraine became the opposite to Russia, and Russian-speaking residents were allegedly oppressed all the time.
После распада Советского Союза в Вашингтоне
Washington did everything to create an opposite of Ukraine to Russia after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The promotion of legal system which prohibits the Russian language, the Russian media and the Russian culture was encouraged.
A political expert, Taras Zagorodny, says that such statements and another change in rhetoric by the Russian authorities are an attempt to justify their actions in Ukraine.
That we were forced to attack, that we have nothing to do with it, and so on. That the Americans are allegedly to blame for everything. That is, it was the Americans who were killing the Ukrainians, right? That anti-Russia was born as a result of the US support, as they say, yes, allegedly. And it wasn't Russia specifically which did everything to make Ukrainians become patriots of their own country, stop learning Russian, start respecting Bandera, and it's in all regions.
According to the expert, Putin understands that he is losing the war in Ukraine, so he is trying to talk about the changing format of the war as well as the entire world order. This is a signal to the post-Putin community why Russia is losing the war.
Держит на крючке Россию.
The world keeps Russia on the hook with a possible recognition of the status of a sponsor of terrorism. This will be a blow. This will be a nuclear blow to the Russian economy. This status is actually forever. Well, for 40 years for sure, you can't just remove it. And judging by the hysteria that Russia is throwing, these elites who are not connected with Putin make it clear that this status should not be introduced, because this is a step backwards. Perhaps we will somehow cope with Putin ourselves in order to reach other negotiation positions with both Ukraine and the West.
Russia will probably not be able to draw the United States into the conflict with Ukraine. At the same time, the expert is sure that partners will continue to supply weapons and ammunition to support Ukraine in the fight against the Russian aggressor. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Natalia Belokudra, UATV News.